Today, I want to go into a little bit more detail about fats. I know you already saw the macronutrient breakdown Jody had covered, explaining a little bit about fats in comparison with protein and carbohydrates. But I do want to discuss the different types of fats and where we should prioritize our calories and where we should not, and which foods we can find these different types of fats in. So there are the polyunsaturated and monounsaturated fats, which are the good fats we do want to focus on, as opposed to the saturated fats and the trans fats. Okay, so trans fats are typically found in baked goods and packaged foods and all the foods for the kiddos. Unfortunately, they are targeted the most. So we definitely want to make sure we're reading nutrition labels and also teaching our children about nutrition labels. It doesn't have to be from the perspective of calories and fat, but it needs to be from more of an educational standpoint of understanding ingredients and different types of fats and showing them that there are healthy fats that our body thrives off of versus the saturated fats that just weigh us down. They're not heart healthy. And so with you learning, I find it very helpful to just share with our young kids because they really are absorbing all the things that we are telling them and we're showing them. And so there is a very healthy way of approaching this with our children as opposed to fear tactics and such. So the trans fats are what we really want to avoid at all costs if we can. Of course, this is all about balance, yes, but if you can, when you are able to choose the products without, do that. And also in this category is the seed oils. So seed oils can be canola oil, safflower oil, sunflower oil. Those different types of oils, they go through a chemical process when they are heated. So I know I get the question a lot, well, why is sunflower oil bad when sunflowers seeds are good? Well, it's just the process in which it goes through to get to the oil phase, and that is not going to be healthy for us. Okay, so if you can rid all the unhealthy oils the majority of the time, that will set you up for success, especially when it comes to our gut health and our heart health. And so again, there's all different elements of wellness here, so we want to make sure that we're really aware of what's going in our body, as well as really focusing on the good healthy fats, because that's going to help lower LDL, it's going to help with triglycerides, it's going to help with so many things, and just at the end of the day, making us feel good and not feeling like a pile of poo, really. So focusing on the unsaturated fats, reducing our saturated fats that come typically with animal products, so heavy cream, meats, cheeses, those things do have high saturated fat. Now, coconut falls into that category as well, but it really is all a balancing act. So if you know that you don't really consume a lot of saturated fat elsewhere, but you love your coconut, then by all means incorporate that in and just don't overdo it. So I know there was a whole TED talk about coconut and coconut oil and how it was poison. So you want to look at the bigger picture and look at everything you're consuming and don't really hone in and zero in on one specific thing. But again, the trans fats, they got to go. The seed oils, they got to go. And really focusing on all the goodness of the unsaturated fats. And when we're looking at it from a macro standpoint, remembering that there are way more calories per gram of fat compared to the protein and the carbs. So remember, there are 9 calories per 1 gram of fat. So when you are looking at that balance of, the macronutrients, if you are taking a macro counting approach, your grams of fat are going to be much lower than the total grams of protein, the total grams of carbs, because the caloric value is so much higher per gram. So hopefully that was helpful, and I will see you in the next video.